Why? Hello and welcome everybody. Also, good morning. On my live stream and even in the YouTube comments, I am getting a ton of questions about how they make their characters tanky. More so, people asking about Monk since that's what I'm playing. And this video is going to be geared more towards Monk, or at the very least, the right side or the top right side of the tree. So what I'm referring to is this region over here where you see me pathing. All right. So before we get started, we're going to cover all the topics that we're going to go through. So that's going to be Chaos Inoculation, which is this here. I'll talk more about, I'll show these as I'm going through them, but for now we're going to bullet list. So Energy Shield, Grim Feast, which is over ES, Meditate / Eternal Youth, Evasion, Blind, Acrobatics, Protect Me from Harm, More Spirit for Auras, Wind Dancer, Ghost Dance, Blink, and of course Freezing and Chilling the Screen. All right. So let's get started. I'm not going to show too much gameplay since that's pretty much all my YouTube channel has is this monk character. So I want to just start breaking it down one by one and explaining where the survivability comes from. As we all know, in Path of Exile 2, it can be frustrating to level up past a certain point. So this character is level 94 at the moment. Our deaths total is 24. I play very crazy on the character. For example, we've been doing pinnacle bosses. I'm actually closing in on my last Citadel here, so I've really been going through the content, and really I don't die that much unless it's something crazy, usually on death effects. So let's get started. Number one, Chaos Inoculation. This is a large part of survivability because it makes you immune to bleeding, not corrupted blood, just bleeding, poison damage, and chaos damage. Now, this is key for 3 reasons. Number one, chaos is littered in the game right now. A lot of regular monster base types are just doing chaos damage. Chaos is one of the hardest of the 3 resistances to build up, right? So with Chaos Inoculation, it's really imbalanced on ES builds right now. You become immune to chaos. Since poison is oriented around chaos, that makes you immune to poison as well. And the reason you're immune to bleed is because for bleeding to occur, it literally has to hit your life pool, which you would be dead at that point. So that's a big plus on Chaos Inoculation. The downside is you now have to figure out a way to sustain your energy shield because your potions won't actually work for it. But wait, there's more. So for example, you could actually take Eternal Youth, which is one of our next key points, which is down right over here. Eternal Youth will make it so your Life Flask will now apply to energy shield. This is very good when you're running maps with, say, Burning Ground. So you run over the Burning Ground, you lose like a third of your ES. You don't want to wait 3 seconds for your recharge to start. Then a mob randomly hits you off screen and cancels it. This is where you can just pop a Life Flask, and it would actually heal your energy shield. Speaking of energy shield. So energy shield is one of the other I'd say the 3 main forms of effective life right now is Mind Over Matter with a big monopool, stacking life, which is very difficult for most classes, and then just Energy Shield. Energy Shield is in abundance on the tree. For example, if you type in Energy Shield, you will see a lot of stuff highlight. To be fair, maybe a third of these nodes are recharge oriented, maybe more, so not all of them directly boost your Energy Shield, but that's not the point. The point is that it is still available on the tree compared to, say, Life. Not to mention, you are getting all of your base Energy Shield value from your body armor. Or not about your body armor, but your gear in general. You can also scale that amount via corruptions and runes, right? So if I take off this right now, take a look at my shield. That's kind of crazy, no? That's like pretty crazy. So that's an example of how your energy shield scaling can kind of just go to the moon. You get your flat value from your gear, and then you scale that with the percentage that you can find on the tree, right? Amulet's kind of the same way. You can get a mixture of both. So now that we've covered energy shield, let's go to our next one. Grim Feast and Meditate. Now these 2 go hand in hand. Meditate allows you to quite literally hold your breath and double your energy shield. Watch. Okay, dad jokes are done for the video. So basically, Meditate is a form of allowing you to go 2 times your energy shield cap. This is very useful in bossing scenarios because you can disengage the boss and actually heal up your energy shield. This is cool because it heals very quickly. You can scale recharge rate. This is tied to the monk ascendancy, however, so you can't get it if you're not a monk. With that being said, there is an aura gem you can get that mimics it. It doesn't really work for bossing, but Grim Feast basically makes it when you kill mobs, they just randomly drop remnants. If you're melee, they're going to drop on your face, you're going to automatically pick them up. These remnants provide you with flat energy shield, scaled off the gem level and I believe your energy shield, but more importantly, allow you to go 2 times your cap, just like Meditate. Grim Feast is probably one of the biggest things that's going to get nerfed in the patch because it's a small reservation on your spirit, but allows you to literally 2 times your energy shield, but also sustain in big encounters when you're surrounded, such as things like Breach, Ritual, Delirium, etc. So I'd say these are like the main points here that what makes energy shield so strong, right? You get so much from your gear on the flat, you get the percentage from the tree, you've got mechanics to go over, you've got mechanics to heal during combat. You don't even need leech. Like you have all of the tools available already. Okay, with that being said, that's not enough. That's just called a defensive layer. We need layers in Path of Exile. So let's move on to the next part, evasion. As a monk, there are a lot of evasion nodes on this side of the tree. Even if you're on the ranger side, you'll see them as well. Any of these green nodes, these green-blue, are most likely evasion energy shield, which means it quite literally will scale your evasion while also providing you with energy shield. This is why I opt to run hybrid gear. That's a discussion for later. So with this setup, I not only get a more HP than a standard life build, right? Effective life, and then can double it. But I also have the nice thing on evasion. Evasion is really good because it will stagger incoming damage, so you're not just getting pelted with hits, right? It will spread the damage out, so you're not getting hit nearly as often, which is, I would say, the closest thing is comparable to block on like the left side of the tree, right? Furthermore, you've got blind. Now, blind kind of weaves its way in with support gems. I think, for example, I think I have it on my Wind Dancer, when the Wind Dancer goes off, it will essentially blind targets who hit me, because, I mean, if you're not hitting me, you probably don't need to be blinded unless it's like a boss fight or something. Anyway, so that kind of makes up for it. Blind basically makes it so when they're blinded, they have less chance to hit you, so it scales basically with your evasion, right? Then you have the option of acrobatics. Now, I'm not playing acrobatics, but I thought it was worth mentioning that people who want to play pure evasion builds have the option of going acrobatics. Acrobatics makes it so you have way less evasion. However, it makes it so that you can avoid all types of damage. So on death effects, certain boss attacks, etc., right? So this is where if you're scaling crazy amounts of evasion, you can be rewarded by taking acrobatics. As a monk, we have something completely different, and we have something called Protect Me from Harm, which you don't have to take if you don't want to. This makes it so not a percentage, but you get less evasion rating. However, the mitigation you get from your evasion is mimicked to your armor. Or maybe not mitigation, but the flat value. So you can see here, I have 0 armor, but 72% physical damage reduction. Granted, that's not actual physical damage reduction. Armor fluctuates with the hit of the monster. That's also for another video. If you guys have watched Crip's video, it'll give probably a better deep dive. This is still enough to prevent a lot of mediocre damage, right? It still helps a lot against smaller hits, against certain types of hits, so I still like it. I'm pretty happy with it. I noticed a big difference on damage intake when I didn't have it, and since damage is so spiky in Path of Exile, I personally preferred having Protect Me from Harm over acrobatics. To be fair, I didn't try neither because I assumed it would be better to splash my layers, but yeah, that's where that comes in. Next up, Monk gets another benefit, and that's having more spirit for auras. So where does that come in from? This right here, and to be fair, anyone can get more spirit, but this is built in. So Lead Me Through Grace basically says, if you have a good body armor, you have a lot of spirit. So you'll notice I have 251 spirit. If I take off my body armor, I only have 100. So the body armor is effectively giving me 150 spirit. It has no spirit on it. It's just pure evasion, yes. This allows me to go into defensive auras, such as Wind Dancer and Ghost Dance. So, Wind Dancer and Ghost Dance. Wind Dancer makes it so that as long as you don't get hit by a melee attack, which is very specific because most of the time you're not getting hit by a melee attack. You're going to get hit by the random rare, a particle effects or maybe ranged mobs that are accurate. Actually, that even doesn't matter. Actually, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, range mobs that are accurate. You only consume your Wind Dancer buff when you get hit by a melee attack. So that's what's nice. If I turn off Wind Dancer, you'll notice my evasion goes from 11.7k to 6.6k. This is kind of crazy. It also is applying to my armor because of the ascendancy, right? So now as I am not getting hit by a melee character, the Wind Dancer starts to go back up. But wait, there's more. Wind Dancer also feeds into Ghost Shroud, or Ghost Dance, whatever it's called. I think POE1 it was called Ghost Dance. So what this one does is essentially, when you get hit, so Ghost Shroud is different. When you get hit, an auto attack, a boss slam, a magical attack, you know, a spell, it does not matter. You will recover energy shield equal to 5% of your evasion. This is very good for quick multi-hits or, you know, things that happen in quick succession you're not aware of, right? Maybe you're standing on, you know, some on-death effect, it explodes, it does 700 damage, but it actually only does 200 because 500 of it is instantly healed because of Ghost Dance. So Ghost Dance is basically designed for hybrid characters. Now, there is one downside with Ghost Shroud, and it's only because other things are too OP. Ghost Shroud will not work if you are at your above cap. So Ghost Shroud will unfortunately still go off. So if I'm at if I'm at 9.8k and I get hit, Ghost Shroud will consume a shroud, but I will not gain any energy shield. It will only apply when I'm below 4.9k. So that's one thing to take into account. Still very good, but not as OP as the other things, right? It'll be really OP when they nerf the other things, and then Ghost Shroud will have its chance to shine. Okay, Blink. Now, Blink is more of like a meme to put in there, but it kind of, to be fair, ties in with having more spirit for auras, and because I'm melee, I do bring it up. As melee, sometimes you get surrounded, sometimes just stupid shit happens, your character gets stuck, you know, things are just not happening correctly. Because I have so much excess spirit, I'm able to socket in Blink, so I can blink around. As a ranged character, you're always kind of putting distance from monsters, but as melee, you're right in front of everything's face. So being able to instantly reposition with Blink, I think is a lifesaver. There are often times where I'm looting, not paying attention, and there's like 11, you know, lightning orbs on the floor that are about to pop. Oh, I just blink, no problem, right? Very convenient. Or maybe there's like a ledge and I have to run all the way around and all the the mobs are at the top of the ledge and they're pew-pew-pewing you. You could just blink on the ledge, right? So very convenient to have on an agile character, especially like this. Then the last one would be Freeze and Chill. Now this character is quite literally a freeze build. It's called a Shatter Invoker, and I freeze pretty much everything other than pinnacle bosses. Not only do I freeze, I apply Chill. Chill reduces their action speed, which makes it even slower for them to use their mechanics or their attacks. Actually, it might just be attacks, it has nothing to do with mechanics. The reason this is good is because as an evasion build, you want to increase the time frame in between them doing things, right? Because that plays into your evasion nicely. Now, as an example of all of the mechanics kind of working together, I don't know if this is the best map exactly, it's just a T13. But most of these guys are actually casters, which kind of sucks. So you can see here. Oh. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. So it's because I had my Herald of Thunder buff on and it was proccing off of Wind Dancer. Alright, here we go. So you can see here. This is a really bad showcase. Okay, let me just turn off Herald of Thunder. Alright, here we go. Let's try this now. There was the blind, by the way, on the mobs. I should have just put that one as a defensive layer at the rate it's going. Okay, so you can see here I'm taking damage, like, pretty rapidly, right? Taking damage, taking damage. Okay, so now I'm going to run around, and I'm going to watch the Ghost Shroud, because now the Ghost Shroud will start to kick in, right? So as I'm fighting, you're going to see the Ghost Shroud kick in, or I'll just get frozen and die. There we go. So you can see here, with my 2 stacks of Ghost Shroud, when this guy actually hits me, my recharge might actually start here. When he hits me, I will instantly heal, right? You see this? It's kind of hard to show, but it's basically nullifying the damage he deals, right? Like, every time something happens, the Ghost Shroud is basically keeping my character alive, right? Like, you can see when I take an instance of damage, I lose a stack, or I'm gaining a stack at the same frame, which is preventing me from dying. So this is where Ghost Shroud kicks in, and it's really nice. Here's an example of the meditate, right? And then I can just re-engage. That Ghost Shroud was also, I think I didn't even have Wind Dancer, so of course when I have Wind Dancer, it's like 2 times as effective, right? Anyway, though, that is pretty much a rundown of my character's defensive layers. Hopefully this can maybe help you guys out with how you're building your monks, or maybe you can take inspiration from something and apply it to, you know, something else that you're playing. Anyway, Hope you guys had a wonderful time. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. If you did, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, you can catch me streaming live every day, but Sundays at twitch.tv/Pohx. Take care. See you guys all tomorrow.